When the game launched, other players were frantically grabbing resources to craft weapons. Current online players, 3,889,878. When the game launched, other players were frantically grabbing resources to craft weapons. But you threw your only survival weapon into the sea. Others laughed at you, calling you a fool, but they didn't know. This is the true way to play this broken game. Another fool who deleted their account to restart. Throwing it away again. Throwing it away again. Just wait to feed the fish. Leave quickly. Facing the mockery of the global channel. Don't pollute his site. He's just. Leave quickly. Don't pollute his site. Facing the mockery of the global channel. Don't pollute his site. Facing the mockery of the global channel. You've already been written off. You didn't even blink. No chance of winning, because you didn't come here to fight monsters. You came to dominate. 1 month ago, you were a name that struck fear into the hearts of everyone in this game. Merchant Prince, the #1 merchant of the national server. You relied on buying low and selling high, controlling the auction houses of 8 districts with one hand. At your peak, your daily cash flow was 2 million. Top guild leaders who wanted to meet you had to wait in line for 3 days, until the officials, citing malicious market manipulation, joined forces with the 10 largest guilds, and forcibly banned your main account. Everyone thought the Merchant Prince had quit the game. No one knew that the person standing by the deck, the alt account without even a broken iron sword, had the most expensive secrets of the entire server in his head. As the weapon sank into the water, the system notification sounded as expected. Detected active abandonment of the starting weapon. Triggered the server's only hidden class, Abyss Collector. All attributes reset to 0, HP permanently locked at 100 points. Forever unable to use weapons, unable to learn attack skills. You pressed confirm without hesitation. The requirements for this class were the dead-end intelligence you bought for 50,000 gold coins before your main account was banned. A light of class change flashed. You obtained a damaged diving suit with 0 attributes. The item description had only one chilling sentence. Wearing it, the deep sea. Wearing it will treat you as one of its own. Wearing it, the deep-sea monsters will treat you as one of their own. You put on the diving suit. Under the gaze of everyone on the ship who saw you as a lunatic, you flipped and dove into the pitch-black deep sea. Others were chased by fish monsters until they were desperate, while you strolled casually past A-rank monsters that could kill in a second. Not only did they not bite you, they even made way for you. Passing through layers of ruins, you reached the lowest level of the shipwreck. There was a safe that all players on the server were powerless against. Explosives. Max-level skills were all useless. You stepped forward, using the secret code you bought from an info broker on your main account. Tapped it 3 times. Tapped 3 times. Opened your mouth and spoke a language not belonging to humans. That was the ancient god tongue. Click, click, click. A dead-end puzzle no one on the server could solve. Solved. There were no divine weapons in the safe, only a still-beating black heart, and a tattered diary covered in slime. You put the items away, returned to the ship. While everyone was still fighting bloody battles over a few cheap health potions, you walked up to the first mate NPC, slapped the heart and the diary onto his desk. The first mate's stiff, mechanical NPC face instantly distorted. He began to weep, gripping your hand tightly. What do you want? You smiled, pointed to the rusty sword on the wall that everyone thought was just a background texture. What you didn't know was, at this very moment, the top guilds on the server had just seen someone list a C blueprint and an old version economic model theory in the auction house. The remarks section had 8 words. Newbie leaving the village. Those who know, know. The moment the first mate saw the heart, he treated you like a living ancestor. With just a broken sword everyone thought was a texture decoration. You obtained NPC hidden permissions that no one on the server had ever seen. The captain personally opened an iron door for you that no one had ever entered. Specimen display room. This room was a discarded concept, dug out from a banned script merchant during your main account days. It required captain-level permissions to unlock. The mechanics inside defied all common sense of this game. There was only an abandoned crafting table in the room. You placed the C-rank specimen collection guide you just got on it, and a row of recipes popped up. The materials for crafting specimens were all from the deep sea. Trash that players wouldn't even glance at. Deformed eyeballs, broken fish scales, and mud skipper suction mucus. That 100 HP lunatic is scavenging trash again. That 100 HP lunatic is scavenging trash again. He's actually spending a fortune to buy mud skipper mucus. What a total sucker. You turned a deaf ear to it, even offering higher prices in the global chat to buy them. The players were ecstatic, selling all the trash they looted to you at high prices, then turning around to exchange them for weapons. They have no idea at all that this junk in your hands is more lethal than any top-tier purple gear, because the specimen crafting table has a hidden mechanism. Specimen resonance. A single specimen in the bag just takes up space, but if you collect a full set and display them together, their attributes will 100% stack and project onto you. No one in the old server server ever verified this legend, because no one was willing to waste time collecting a pile of trash. But patience is what you have in abundance. You spent an entire day completing the first shallow sea predator set. The moment the last specimen was placed, the system pop-ups began flooding the screen. A dozen attributes instantly surged into your body. Underwater vision plus 20, swimming speed plus 60%, noise perception plus 15, underwater breathing tripled. You still only have 100 HP, but those C-rank monsters that used to one-shot newbies, now they'll just tremble in fear upon seeing you. The engine room was invaded by a B-rank iron-eating worm. All players were called for support. The kill reward was a purple weapon. The high-level players across the server were greedy. They all rushed in, hacking and slashing. The damage numbers were blinding. The worm was as hard as steel. It swallowed half the hatch in 2 bites. You strolled slowly to the engine room entrance. You were stopped by a full HP guard. "It's dangerous inside. You 100 HP piece of trash. Get lost!" You ignored him, pulling a slime-covered specimen from your pocket. This was a larva shell you risked your life to steal from the hive. You held the shell high. The B-rank boss, who was slaughtering frantically, suddenly froze in its tracks. You opened your mouth and let out a series of piercing screeches. The sound coming from your mouth was impossible for a human to make. Ancient god language. The moment the iron-eating worm heard this sound, it was as if its spine had been ripped out. Its massive body crashed to the ground. Its steel-like segments began to tremble. The coiled armor slowly loosened, holding the larva's shell. You casually pointed toward the deep sea outside. The worm felt as if it had been granted a royal pardon. It turned and smashed through the hull, fleeing back into the darkness like a madman. The engine room became deathly silent. The strongest players on the server fought for half an hour against a B-rank boss they couldn't damage by a trash player with unstable HP, sent away in just 3 seconds. Congratulations, player, for completing the emergency mission. Obtained a purple weapon chest X1. You weighed the purple glowing chest in your hand. You turned to look at the high-level player who just called you trash, with a slight smile. "That blue-tier weapon of yours is outdated. Want this purple one for 200,000 gold? The man's face turned beet red. Finally, gritting his teeth, the trade took 3 seconds. 20,000 real-world currency credited. This is the power of absolute information asymmetry. That the worm fears the larva's shell was top secret until your old server account paid for with 3 lives. Now you are the only one on the server who knows this. As the news spread, a heavy-armored player named Iron Wall Fortress approached you. A heavy-armored player named Iron Wall Fortress approached you. A heavy-armored player named Iron Wall Fortress approached you. Seeing this name, a smirk curled on your lips. In the old server, he was your greatest arch-nemesis, a spy merchant who built his fortune by flipping intel. He stared intently at the larva's shell in your hand and said he wanted to buy it. You named a price that would bankrupt him. Iron Wall Fortress grit his teeth and stubbornly paid 7.5 million gold. He could never have dreamed that this 100 HP piece of trash extorting him was the merchant emperor he hated most in the old server. After securing your first pot of gold, you headed to the shabbiest sailor's lounge on the ship, using a bottle of low-grade rum worth 10 gold from a crazy old man huddled in an iron locker. You traded for half of a tattered sea map. The coordinates pointed directly to the A-rank high-risk area, fluorescent sea. Recommended level 25. While you were only level 10, you stepped into the eerie green dead water without hesitation, relying on the stealth attributes stacked from the specimens. A-rank monsters swam right beside you, yet they completely ignored you. You began frantically collecting fluorescent coral fragments. In the old server, this stuff was hyped up to 2,000 gold each in the late game, and now, the ground was covered in unwanted wealth, just as your bag was nearly full. At the moment you prepared to return with your haul, the game's screen suddenly began to darken. It wasn't a power outage, the entire screen was bleeding. Strange, crimson characters were plastered right across your face. Warning. You are being watched by the Abyss. The Whisper trial will be forcibly initiated in 48 hours. Pass to obtain unknown rewards. Failure results in permanent character erasure. Even your ID will be permanently banned. Death by the Abyss. Old server, 3 years. This word only appeared once. That big shot who posted it was erased by the system without a trace. And now, the seabed beneath your feet has split open. A giant eye lit up at the bottom of the abyss. It is staring intently at you. The system notification sounded shrilly. You have entered the forbidden territory. Countdown triggered early. 23 hours 59 minutes. In the final second of weightless fall, only one crazy thought remained in your mind. That sole surviving player from the old server. What on earth did they do in this godforsaken place? You fell for a full 30 seconds, crashing onto a writhing crimson fungal carpet. The sight before your eyes would make any max-level big shot in the server shudder. In the center of the altar hung a still-beating pitch-black heart. Heart of the Abyss. In the old server, a single fragment of it triggered a bloody war between the 3 major guilds. A system window popped up. First to enter the Forbidden Zone. Triggering the Pioneer. Achievement. Abyss favorability plus 10. You wanted to reach out, but a warning in ancient god language instantly appeared on the stone pillar. To take the heart, one must pass 7 trials, and offer 7 sacrificial grade specimens. Those who touch it by force will be erased immediately. Erased immediately. Just then, your rival, Iron Wall Fortress, suddenly sent a private message. Your rival, Iron Wall Fortress, suddenly sent a private message. Brother, something big happened. Someone outside is paying 10,000 cash per page, frantically buying Abyss fragments. Before you could reply, a piercing red warning popped up from the system. Non-Abyss faction players detected locking onto entrance coordinates. Altar's hidden protection time. Only 12 hours remaining. The guilds outside are searching every inch of the earth for you, while the first trial before you is to offer an excellent quality living specimen. Only 10 hours left on the countdown. You prayed for the power of the abyss in ancient god language, using a whisper stone to catch the mucus seeping from the heart. You rushed back to the port's crafting table, and the system displayed a hidden option never seen in the old server. Sacrificial grade specimen. Requires draining the creator's HP. The greater the sacrifice, the higher the quality. Your max HP is only 100. One death means a permanent account ban. Trembling, you dragged the slider to 98 and slammed the confirm button. Crafting successful. Quality superior. The cost was permanently losing 20 points of max HP. At this moment, your health bar has only a sliver of crimson. 2 HP. You collapsed weakly on the crafting table, gasping for air, as a fatal question suddenly flashed through your mind. How could Iron Wall Fortress, in such a huge map, happen to run into you? He definitely tampered with you. Just as you caught your breath, with a shatter sound, Iron Wall Fortress, covered in blood, burst through the cargo bay doors. Run! The port is surrounded by the whole server. Your head is worth 500,000 now. As soon as he finished speaking, max-level assassins had already surrounded the door. Leading them was the first guild master, Deep Sea Sovereign. He sneered, drew his great sword. Hand over the abyss coordinates, and I'll leave you whole, and I'll leave you whole, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Without a word, you pulled the last Gloomlight Spirit firebomb from your bag. This was your own secret recipe from the old server, never sold to anyone. You pulled the trigger, and a blinding cold light instantly startled everyone. You put on your diving suit, forced yourself with 2 HP to jump out the window and plunge into the deep sea. Lying on a cold reef, Iron Wall Fortress sent a message. Playing the good guy. I've respawned in the main city. Come and meet me quickly. You sneered at the message. The main city teleportation array takes 15 minutes. He was insta-killed. Respawning couldn't be that fast. This top spy from the old server is finally showing his true colors. Not only did you not go to the main city, but you logged back in with your remaining 80 HP, and dove back into the abyss altar. You placed the completed specimen on the sacrificial altar. Clang! The first chain snapped. Dark red energy surged into the fungal carpet, and the stone gate to the second trial roared open. Just as you were about to enter, a chilling sneer, like fingernails scratching a blackboard, came from behind. Not bad. Servant of the base guard, you can stop now. You turned around. Iron Wall Fortress was standing at the edge of the fungal carpet. He pulled down his hood, and what was revealed was not a face, but a black water mirror floating with countless distorted faces. This divine artifact can control all players he has infiltrated. How did you get in? By following you, of course. While you were making specimens in the warehouse, I had already placed the highest grade tracking mark on you at the door. Surprised? Looking at Iron Wall Fortress's smug face. You have no clue, because that tracking mark, from your main account days, was a defective product you personally resold. Join us. I'll cover the materials. You trigger the traps, and we split the abyss power equally. That shipwrecked treasure king from the old server is also one of yours. He froze for a moment, then tacitly agreed. You nodded. Then I have one more question. Why do you think someone whose account you all conspired to ban would be stupid enough to talk about fairness with you? You pull out a second spirit fire bomb, not to throw at him, but to smash it hard into the writhing abyss carpet beneath your feet. The moment the cold brilliance collided with the abyss energy, the heart of the abyss let out a frenzied roar. A terrifying domain expanded instantly. Within a radius of 100 meters, every living creature was forcibly branded with the death mark of the abyss's gaze. Iron Wall Fortress looked down at the blood-eye totem on his chest, and let out a scream like a slaughtered pig. You're fucking crazy. You'll be burdened with double marks yourself. You only have 80 HP right now. You'll surely die under the double trial. Hundreds of faces in the water mirror showed extreme terror simultaneously. The heavy stone door slowly closed behind you, shutting out Iron Wall Fortress's desperate scratching. With your back to him, you left one final sentence. Just because my name is Shang Tianzi. Second abyss mark overlap trial. Countdown reset to 47 hours. Difficulty doubled. At the same time, a server-wide broadcast exploded like a thunderclap. The entrance to the Abyss altar will be fully revealed in 10 hours. 7-player Shang Tianzi has become the server's first Abyss faction ally 03. You can't even be bothered to check the regional channel 103. Right now, only a few broken stones remain in your bag, and some nearly expired low-grade blood. You can't even scrape together a potion to refill 80 HP. But the real slaughter has only just begun. Guilds across the server are frantically searching for you, while you are in the second trial facing an impossible task. Steal the horn of the A-rank monster, the Siren. Second trial. A specimen capable of carrying sound. This requires an abyss singing shell from high-risk waters. Shell. The siren's song can instantly shatter the internal organs of players within 50 meters. When you swam into the siren's lair, it was perched on a pile of bones, chanting. The remains of max-level players floated all around. Enduring the HP reduction debuff, you crept behind it and began to carve the mineralized shell at its throat. A piercing glass-like sound alerted it. The siren whipped its head around, opening its blood-red maw. A lethal sonic wave blasted past your scalp. In the nick of time, the jellyfish tears from the first trial erupted in a golden light, blocking the fatal blow for you. Clutching the bloody singing shell, you swam back for your life. You knew very well that with this battered body of 80 HP, if a monster so much as scratched your skin, your account would be completely ruined. Just as you crawled out of the siren's lair, the server announcement exploded again. The entrance to the Abyss Altar has been officially revealed. The first batch of guild players who rushed in collided head-on with the chain traps that Iron Wall Fortress had set in advance to catch you. The public channel was filled with thunderous cursing, and blood flowed like a river, while the outside was in total chaos. You strode into the altar. You slammed the singing shell onto the sacrificial altar, and the second chain snapped. Without pausing, you pulled out the stability crystal you had casually swiped from the bottom of the siren's lair, kicked open the door to the third secret chamber, and slammed it onto the table. Crash! The third chain broke. The system notification flashed twice. Your ID was forcibly highlighted and read by the system. Pinned to the very top of the server interface. Pinned to the very top of the server interface. The guild members who were miserably trapped grew red-eyed with rage. The bounty on your head soared from 50,000 to 7.2 million in cash within a minute. Fourth trial. With extreme hand speed, you completed the live egg slicing of an S-rank monster. The fourth chain shattered. But upon reaching the fifth, the system completely turned against you. The sacrificial altar spat your specimens all over the floor. New blood-red characters appeared on the stone pillar. Insufficient reputation. An Abyss achievement must be completed. Create an offering using the bones and souls of your enemies. To pass the level, you must kill. You give a cold laugh. Open private chat and send a coordinate location to Iron Wall Fortress. 3 minutes later, Iron Wall Fortress pushes open the door to the fifth secret room. Almost simultaneously, Deep Sea Sovereign leads 2 full squads to blast through another wall and charges in. Enemies meeting. Eyes turning red with rage. You stand in the corner, leisurely pulling out an empty zero-fire shell, stuffing the remnants of siren sonic waves inside. This is the most sinister composite trap from the old server. Enjoy yourselves, great lords. You pull the trigger. The sonic waves are infinitely amplified within the enclosed space. The entire secret room begins to collapse violently. You turn and leave elegantly amidst the screams and loud crashes. The 3 parties fight in an inextricable melee, and amidst the ruins, you precisely find the server's top assassin, Nightingale. Send a private message to Faceless. Iron Wall Fortress is the biggest information broker of the old server. How many times he's screwed you over. You know it well. 1 second later, Faceless Nightingale suddenly betrays them in the ruins, stabbing through the shoulder of their own guild leader, Deep Sea Sovereign. At the same time, you rip off the tracking mark Iron Wall Fortress had placed on you, and throw it onto the sacrificial altar. Cold text appears on the stone altar. Are you willing to trade one betrayal for the sacrifice to pass? You decisively press confirm. The fifth chain breaks with a crash. You have obtained a new god-level passive. When the Abyssal Deceiver provides false information to others, the system will not judge you as violating the rules. The public channel instantly goes wild, because on the bounty list, besides your name, a new server-wide fugitive has appeared. Iron Wall Fortress. He doesn't even know how his reputation was ruined. The 6th trial has no secret room at all, nor are there any items to collect. The system transports you directly before a boundless abyssal rift. A consciousness truly from an ancient old god stares intently at you. Only a sentence of old god tongue echoes in the empty void. Give me a reason why I should not eat you. No progress bar. No prompts, your mind races. Players in the old server who lied before an old god. Both they and their accounts vanished into ash. Human lies are meaningless here. You look up and stare intently at that rift. Silent for a full minute. Then you speak. Because I have come. You have waited for so many years. I am the only one using pure commercial sacrifice rules. Instead of coming to your doorstep with swords and blades, the entire void is dead. Silent for a few seconds. The 7th and final chain begins to tremble violently. It did not break, but a deep crack opened on its surface. You have completed all submissions. The 7th chain must fall off naturally. Countdown. Exactly 7 days. The true hell mode has begun. A server-wide pinned announcement pops up. The Star of the Abyss has entered the final contention phase. If the holder dies, all progress and final rewards will be 100% transferred to the killer. Your coordinates are forcibly made public by the system. The name of the sole holder on the server panel, the blood-dripping merchant son of heaven. Now even the scenery players who don't participate in the fight have gone crazy. Your bounty instantly exceeds 71 million. Now Iron Wall Fortress, Deep Sea Sovereign. The server's top 10 guild leaders simultaneously send friend requests. You don't click a single one. Instead, you send a private message to Faceless Nightingale, who just became a lone wolf. Let's make a deal. The moment you send the message, dense red dots on the minimap are like a plague of locusts, already sealing off the entire sea area where you are. 7 days of flight. How on earth are you going to hide? What deal? What deal? Faceless Nightingale replies extremely quickly. Every word exudes the coldness of a top-tier assassin. I can absolutely never go back to the guild. You helped me block the pursuit for these 7 days, and the first subordinate divine artifact after the Heart of the Abyss is unsealed is yours. Nightingale is silent for a moment. He is silent for a moment. Aren't you afraid I'll take the item and betray you with a knife? You chuckle and send a screenshot of the Abyssal Deceiver's passive skill. With this skill, you have the absolute right of interpretation in any contract. The other side is silent for even longer. Finally, they reply with one word: party formed. Nightingale leads you through abandoned coral reefs. He says 3 top guilds are already conducting a grid search outside. The spell lock-on rate is as high as 70%. Iron Wall Fortress even announced on the public screen that he's willing to pay 100,000 gold for your coordinates. But you know Iron Wall Fortress's nature too well. What he wants isn't the abyssal specimen at all. He wants to kill you, to loot the old server data remnants from your inventory. Those data hide the commercial lifelines that once monopolized 8 districts. Seeing the encirclement getting smaller and smaller, Iron Wall Fortress suddenly throws a nuclear-level piece of intel on the public screen. That crazy old man in the sailor's lounge. Actually, he's a remnant GM. He was too smug, thinking he had found the key to breaking the deadlock. He said that NPC named Old Phone was from the game company, a ghost admin whose back-end permissions were forgotten during the data transfer. Iron Wall Fortress is calling you. Iron Wall Fortress is calling you. Iron Wall Fortress is calling you. Old Feng's terminal commands can bypass the normal processes of the Star of the Abyss. Shangtianzi, send me your coordinates. Together, we'll have Old Phone break into the back end and steal the heart directly. Profits split 60/40. You get 60, I get 40. Listening to the voice message, you look at the crazy old man standing beside you. The old man is staring blankly at a semi-transparent back-end panel. The offer is tempting. You reply through the channel. Old Phone turns his head, looking at you with dead fish eyes. Don't listen to him. The back-end data is locked. Forcing it will trigger an alarm. A cruel smile curls on your lips. I know, but since you are a GM, according to the underlying protocol, can you help me change a parameter? When you lean in and whisper those words to Old Feng, Old Feng's expressionless face shows extreme shock for the first time. He looks at the dense list of pursuers on the floating panel. Over half of the server's max-level players have gathered outside. Flags of over a dozen guilds flutter across the sea. Among them are enemies who played a big part in getting your account banned in the old server. What do you want me to change? You point to the attribute bar of the Abyss Specimen workbench. Change the target of health consumption for all my upcoming specimen crafting to the attackers who deal damage to me. Old Phone gasps in shock. This substitution mechanism was actually always written in the underlying code, but because it was too broken, programmers added a masking comment before the open beta. This will break the server balance. When they teamed up to ban my main account, why did nobody talk about balance? Delete that internal masking code for me. 0.1 seconds, the system reports your coordinates on time. Tens of thousands of pursuers burst through the altar gates like mad dogs. But what awaits them is a dimensional strike. Fireballs and arrows rain down upon you, but you don't lose any health at all. After Old Phone removed that line of code, everyone attacking you is no longer a lethal threat, but rather your mobile health packs. You stand in the very center of the altar, hands moving so fast they leave after images, frantically crafting top-tier abyss specimens that require massive amounts of health. The more people attack you, the more people attack you, the more people attack you. It deducts from their maximum health. The faster you craft specimens, from the 1st to the 6th stage, all high-level sacrifices, under the enemy's frantic attacks, take shape automatically like an assembly line. By the time the guild leaders outside realize something is wrong, their prized max-level elite squads have been drained dry into low-health weaklings. The 7th day finally arrives. The heart of the abyss trembles violently. The crack in the final chain has expanded to its limit, and at this moment, the guilds that were hunting you suddenly stop. They all block the entrance and begin killing each other, because they finally realize, for this ultimate reward, Whoever lands the final blow wins. Only 1 minute remains on the countdown. Ironwall Fortress and the deep-sea sovereign step over countless corpses, rushing into the lowest level of the altar simultaneously. Nightingale and Faceless tighten their grip on their weapons, retreating to your side. But at this critical moment, the first to speak and break the deadlock is not them, but you. Nightingale, want to make a bet? The limited edition Blade Sharpening Advancement book is currently lying in the second slot of the Deep-Sea Sovereigns Guild warehouse. How do you know? Because in the old server, I was the one who resold that crappy book to him. The giant sword raised by the deep-sea sovereign freezes in midair. The faces in the water mirrors of Ironwall Fortress go blank collectively. In the instant their composure is shaken by this information gap, the clock strikes 0:01. Boom! The seventh chain completely snaps. There are no world-shaking special effects. The star of the abyss shrinks rapidly, turning into a dim light, and sinks directly into your chest. The system notification shatters everyone's dreams. System announcement. No world broadcast. Only 4 blood-red characters pop up on your retina. Priceless grade. All auction transactions between you and the Abyss system are reduced to 0. Transaction fees reduced to 0. Abyss Covenant. Fees reduced to. Transaction fees reduced to 0. Fees reduced to. Transaction fees reduced to 0. The heart of the Abyss that all players fought desperately for finally reveals its sole passive attribute. 0. Every time other players sell a piece of equipment in the auction house, the system strips away a 15% tax. But for you, it's 0. This is the true god-tier late-game ability of the Abyss Collector. It's not giving you a blade that can one-shot people, but giving you the absolute privilege to monopolize the entire server's economic system. You look down at the panel, and the day your account was permanently banned in the old server flashes through your mind. Those big shots laughed as they divided your warehouse, mocking you for being unable to defeat the system rules. If one day I return to the auction house, I will make sure the words, commission, never appear next to this line again. You did it. Now, it's time to let the entire server feel the fear of being dominated by the merchant prince once more. Alarm. External abnormal login detected. Official ops are attempting to force delete your Abyss items using low-level commands. Before you could even start celebrating, Old Feng's voice suddenly sounded urgent in your headset. The game company is panicking. They will never allow a fee-free, destructive-level account to exist. Let them try. Send the screenshot. You open the server-wide panel and send the screenshot. You throw the stats of the Star of the Abyss onto the public screen. At the bottom, Old Feng had already locked the authority contract. This item cannot be deleted on the server side. Abyss contract. The entire public channel went dead silent instantly. LV.95 3 seconds later. V.95 Those cross-server super black market dealers who had been lurking for days went crazy. Private messages started popping up frantically. They weren't asking how much you wanted for them, but asking for the pre-sale quota of Abyss specimens. Those guild leaders who climbed over your corpse in the old server shamelessly sent friend requests. You typed the exorbitant price list you'd already calculated into the chat box. You doubled the price on top of the already rip-off rates. 32 friend requests received, then rejected all with one click. While the server's top players were jumping in frustration at being shut out, you leisurely searched through the vast friend list for an inconspicuous ID. 2. Heart has flowers 6. He was a small merchant you'd known for only 3 days in the novice village. Right now, he had a seemingly useless whetstone skill book in his bag. The fragment only adds 10% attack power, but you are the only one in the server who knows that this thing has 2 hidden advancement recipes. In the old server's test build, it once auctioned for a staggering 100,000 in cash. You send a private message directly. Selling the whetstone fragment? Name your price. You are merciless. You offer 20% off the lowest price from the old server. Just as you finish typing, a notification pops up that the friend request was accepted. A sentence was written in the note. It really is you, the one who once shorted all Tier 3 materials in the old server's trading channel, the Tyrant Merchant. Correct? He had recognized you long ago. The great sword of deep-sea dominion fell heavily onto the military carpet. In the water mirrors of Ironwall Fortress, countless eyes turned toward you in despair. Some were even kneeling and begging for mercy in the mirror. Is it over? This is just the beginning. You let out a cold laugh. You opened the auction board, using all the gold earned from selling purple gear early on. You took everything listed on the exchange, those Abyss specimens treated as trash, and fluorescent fragments, and swept them all clean within 30 seconds. Hundreds of thousands of Abyss specialties were instantly sold out. Then, you relist them all. You added a 0 to the end of every price. This wasn't to earn a bit of gold. You were using the most brutal method to set the rules for everyone on the server. You wanted them to understand one thing: the market of this new server is just like the old one. Whatever I say it's worth, that's exactly what it's worth. You sent a message to Heart has flowers. I don't need gold for the tier 2 demonic path materials. I just want that coral worm fossil in your bag that nobody else wants. The other side remained silent for a long time, then sent a voice message with a complex tone. You couldn't be bothered to guess if he was happy or wanted to curse. You turned and opened the trade window for Nightingale Faceless. You placed that yellow tier 2 demonic path recipe on it. In the trade amount column locked for 7 days. You entered 0. You decisively pressed confirm. This was the reward you promised him. Merchant Prince, exactly how much money do you want to quit the game? You'd better send that again, because the screenshot of your mental breakdown will become your guild's final marketing expense for the season. My authority's lifespan has reached its end. Execute one last piece of code for me. Completely delete me from this server. You stood on the deck and watched the resting room's iron cabinets slowly dissolve into a pile of rust powder. The game doesn't need ghost GMs. Those are the rules. Then unbind it. In your capacity as the administrator's assistant, you entered Old Fang's retirement command. The moment the operation was completed, the last line of warning popped up on your reputation panel. The GM privileges you intercepted are only enough to execute one more single line of code. After execution, it will be permanently sealed. The whole server's gaze was fixed on the Abyss altar, guessing what god-tier artifact you would spawn for yourself. You thought for a moment. In the terminal, you entered a string of ancient god symbols and garbled code. It couldn't let you one-shot everyone, nor could it let you farm infinite money. Its only use was to completely lock down the server's core. From this second onward, whether it be Deep Sea Dominion or Ironwall Fortress, still the chief operating officer of the game company, no one will ever be able to use the Sanku command again to erase your Abyss assets. Your business empire is truly invincible now. Aren't you really afraid of a counterattack from Ironwall Fortress's reorganization alliance? The intelligence he holds about me is all outdated trash I intentionally leaked to him on the old server. Whose account did he use to check in the Abyss Council? Which excuses did I feed him? I know it even better than he, the intelligence officer, does. Nightingale Faceless has been completely silenced, facing a monster who plans 10 steps ahead for everyone. Any resistance is futile. You collect the last few fluorescent sea mine markers on the map, link the auction house to real-world credit points, establishing an absolutely monopolized nighttime shipping line. With a ding, Heart has flowers sent an email, with materials attached, and a questioning sentence. Old server, the debt you owe me. When will you pay it back? When you next open the out-of-print hidden blind box I want. In the main city square, the bustling players suddenly stopped in their tracks. Everyone looked at a person wearing a worn-out diving suit, without even a single weapon in hand, slowly walking out of the Abyss teleportation array. Nightingale Faceless' ultimate demon blade has been synthesized. Heart has flowers' fossil has long been stored. Iron Wall Fortress frantically took down that joke of a wanted poster, and on the most prominent notice board of the whole server, what hung at the top was not a recruitment order from some top guild, but your ID, and the new rules you unilaterally established for the zero-fee auction house that the whole server must obey. Below were the specimen appraisal standard prices you specified. Suddenly, the trade channel that had been silent for a whole month on the old server and overgrown with weeds began to jump frantically. Message after message, densely packed. Merchant Emperor, welcome back. Not even 24 hours after your zero-fee rules were announced, the sky of the entire server suddenly cracked open. It wasn't a monster invasion, but the officials. Seeing they couldn't delete you, they directly chose to flip the table. The emergency expansion, Ragnarok, was launched early, due to abnormal economic data on this server. In 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, it will be forcibly merged with the first region, City of Divine Medicine. This was not a normal update at all. This was the official's way to destroy your business empire, by introducing the super capital of the first region. You should know, the price ceiling and god-tier equipment of Region 1 are half a year ahead of your region. Sure enough, as the merge countdown ended, hundreds of cross-server warships, flying golden dragon banners descended from the sky. The first guild of the region, the Pantheon, arrived with max-level pressure and mountains of wealth. The leading guild master's ID was Deshurtian, a true whale who spent hundreds of millions in real life. He stood at the bow of the ship, looking at the zero-fee auction house rules you announced to the server, and smiled faintly. From today onwards, the trading currency of this region will no longer be gold coins, but the primordial stones brought by our Region 1. As for that clown called Merchant Emperor, get out of the main city immediately, otherwise I will slaughter 100,000 newbies every day. The officials used a version update to forcibly strip away your gold coin hegemony. Everyone thought that you, a 100 HP piece of trash, would finally be crushed by real capital this time. But as you looked at the priceless heart of the abyss in your bag, a cold smile curled on your lips. A cold smile curled on your lips. Merchant Emperor, your era is over. Your era is over. Iron Wall Fortress, that two-faced traitor, immediately ran to become Dishurtian's lapdog. On the first day after the cross-server merge, the prices in your region completely collapsed, because Region 1 brought a massive amount of high-level gear and the primordial stone settlement system. The gold coins in your hands depreciated 10,000 times instantly. The guild masters of the zero-rank native abyss guilds, to survive, were forced to pay exorbitant primordial protection fees to Dishurtian. The entire server was filled with wails of despair. Iron Wall Fortress even brought high-level assassins from Region 1 to block the entrance of the Abyss Altar, frantically mocking Merchant Emperor. So what if you have the privilege of zero fees? Now the whole server no longer trades with gold coins. Your privilege is just a pile of scrap paper. Primordial stones cannot be dropped. Primordial stones cannot be dropped. They are special bound currency that cannot be traded in the Abyss Auction House. They are special bound currency that cannot be traded in the Abyss Auction House. They are special bound currency that cannot be traded in the Abyss Auction House. They are special bound currency that cannot be traded in the Abyss Auction House. This is a targeted code written by the officials specifically for you. What should we do since we can't use the old tricks? Who said I wanted to earn their primordial stones? Then what do you want? I want to short the entire first region. The officials thought changing the currency could poison me. They forgot that I am the Abyss Collector. The Abyss never rejects anything. Dishurtian used primordial stones to monopolize all top-tier equipment trades, but he never imagined that you bypassed the official trading system, opened the server's largest black market smuggling network. You opened the private chat with Heart with Flowers. How much did you get for those trash materials you hoarded in the beginner village? 20 million sets. The warehouse is almost full. Are you sure this trash is useful? People in the district won't even look at them. Soon they will be begging you on their knees to buy them. Soon they will be begging you on their knees to buy them, Yu Xiang. Soon they will be begging you on their knees to buy them. You cut off the communication. Take the Star of the Abyss in your hand and link it to that abandoned GM terminal with the highest authority. Since the officials can issue currency, why can't you, a lunatic with the underlying code, create something even more ruthless than prime stones? You activate the hidden conversion mechanism of the Abyss system. You throw these 20 million sets of beginner village waste that nobody wants, all into the Abyss furnace, accompanied by the shrill roar of an ancient god. A brand new crystal emitting an eerie glow was born, Abyss Chips. Its item description is extremely overbearing, able to ignore any cross-server rules, forcibly exchange any equipment on a player. When you post the screenshot of the first Abyss chip on the server's black market, the arrogant District 1 tycoons under Dishurtian, their eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. This is what a true dimensional strike looks like. The Abyss chips you synthesized from a pile of scrap metal directly shook the foundation of Dishurtian's guild. The big shots of District 1 discovered that the top-tier artifacts they spent half a year grinding for could actually be forcibly exchanged at the altar using these Abyss chips. Although the officials strictly forbade the use of Abyss system items, under the temptation of top-tier divine gear, who could resist? Soon, the first private black market transaction began. A vice president of the district secretly found Faceless Nightingale wanting to buy 100 Abyss chips for 30,000 limited time coins, but Faceless Nightingale rejected him. No cash, nor prime stones. If you want Abyss chips, exchange them for your District 1 strategic resources. In just 3 days, the District 1 logistics warehouse that Dishurtian took pride in, by the greedy executives under him, like rats moving house, was secretly exchanged for the Abyss chips in your hand. When Dishurtian prepared to launch a cross-server national war and opened the guild warehouse to extract strategic resources, he was completely stunned. Max-level recovery potions were gone. Top-tier engineering blueprints were gone. Only a note left by Faceless Nightingale remained in the warehouse. Thanks to the District 1 bros for the rockets, Shang Tianzi sends his regards. Dishurtian flew into a rage, directly placing a 10 million bounty on the world channel. Limited time coins for your life. But he had no idea. The real disaster had only just begun. The circulation of Abyss chips completely destroyed the credit of prime stones. Since chips can exchange for artifacts. Since chips can exchange for artifacts. Since chips can exchange for artifacts. Who would still use the official's crappy prime stones? Players across the server began selling them off frantically. Players across the server began selling them off frantically. Players across the server began selling them off frantically. The once stable prime stones, their value plummeted by 90% within a single day. The officials urgently stepped in to save the market, implementing various trade restricting patches. But they couldn't block you, the Abyss. Collector's innate zero transaction fee privilege. Black Hole Iron Fortress panicked. He had accumulated a huge amount of prime stones. Now it's all worthless in his hands. He shamelessly sent you a private message. Brother Brother Shang, I was wrong. Brother Shang, I was wrong. I am willing to be your insider. Please give this little brother a hand. Sure. Send me the coordinates of Deshirtian's main fleet. I'll buy back your prime stones at the original price. Iron Fortress felt like he found a treasure. Immediately sold all the secrets of the District 1 fleet to you. But he didn't know, because of the Deceiver's passive ability. The system judged that the promise you made didn't need to be fulfilled. The moment you got Deshirtian's fleet coordinates, you didn't send anyone to assassinate them. Instead, you listed it directly in the auction house, an item titled District 1 Main Defense Map and Weakness Analysis. Priced at Abyss chips. The entire game instantly boiled over. Other district guilds that were once suppressed by District 1 pounced on it like sharks smelling blood. Everyone scrambled for this intelligence. Following the coordinates, they launched a siege when Deshirtian's fleet was at its weakest. Under the battle, District 1's fleet suffered heavy losses. Shang Tianzi, if you have the guts, come out and 1v1. What kind of skill is it to rely on such dirty tricks? For a 1v1, you can find me at the Abyss altar. I'll make you lose your arms and legs. After all, you're a piece of trash who can't even learn attack skills. A waste with only 100 HP. But what Deshirtian didn't know was that the Abyss altar where you were had now, because of the massive cross-server data you sacrificed, evolved into a competitive arena that even the official underlying code cannot analyze. The server's number 1 tycoon, Deshirtian. The server's number 1 tycoon, Deshirtian, leading 3000 max level, top-tier players, marched grandly into the Abyss altar. They thought he came to slay gods, but it turns out he came to deliver takeout. The moment they stepped into the altar's range, a crimson prompt box popped up for all players in District E. Warning! Intense Abyss radiation detected. Your level will be forcibly suppressed to level 1. HP locked at 100 points. All active skills sealed. What's going on? Where is the official cross-server protection mechanism? Stop shouting. In this altar, I am the official, old foam. That last GM permission you intercepted, the ancient god and garbled code you entered back then, wasn't some kind of invincibility code, but rather, it forced the rules of the Abyss altar to override everyone who entered. Here everyone becomes just like you. Only 100 HP and no skills. The only difference is, you survived under these rules for a whole month, while they don't even know how to walk. In the face of absolute fairness at 100 HP, the most expensive gear on the server isn't worth a piece of paper. In the most humiliating way, you rub those arrogant big shots of District 1 into the dirt. Deshirtian tried to swing his massive greatsword, but because his strength attribute was drained, he couldn't even lift the sword. You didn't use any weapon. You just snapped your fingers. From the 1st to the 7th layer, all the Abyss specimens collected during the trials lit up in the altar's dome. Shallow Sea Predator series, Deep Sea Siren sonic waves. Countless terrifying Abyss mechanisms were activated. You didn't even need to lift a finger. The hands of the Abyss and poisonous mist instantly engulfed these 3000 max level players. The system notifications began a brutal, frantic scroll. Kill Deshirtian. Abyss conversion mechanism triggered. Seized 10% of the enemy guild's funds. Killed District 1 Vice Guild Leader. Seized 10% of the enemy guild's funds. Under the parameters old phone modified for you. Under the parameters old phone modified for you. Under the parameters old phone modified for you. Every time they died, what dropped wasn't equipment, but the core financial data of their guild accounts. In just 10 minutes, the 10 billion guild funds Deshirtian took pride in were drained dry by you. In reality, the game company's red alert echoed through the entire building. The lead designer called your private line directly. His voice was trembling. Shang Tianzi, stop this. You've drained the economic data of District 1. The game will crash. Exactly how much money do you want? 50 million? 100 million? Our company will pay to buy your account. The game company bowed down, facing a monster who used legal rules to destroy the entire server's economic system. They could only choose to pay to avoid further disaster. You wore your headphones, listening to the lead designer's humble pleas, but your gaze was colder than the Abyss. A month ago, when you collaborated with the 10 great guilds to ban me, did you ever think the game would crash? I don't want your filthy money. I want you to post a server-wide announcement on the official website's homepage. Admit that it was an official data manipulation error, and apologize to me publicly. That's impossible. This will cause the company's stock price to plummet. Then let it plummet. You hung up the phone. Then, on the Abyss Altar's control panel, you pressed the button to detonate the Abyss data across the whole server. With the press of the button, the entire game's server let out a groan of overload. You didn't just short District 1. You tore up the underlying logic of the entire game. Massive amounts of Abyss chips and converted guild funds instantly flooded the mailboxes of every player on the server. You crushed all the primordial stones forcibly issued by Deshirtian's former official ties, and airdropped them indiscriminately indiscriminately to all novices and solo players. The entire game's economic system crashed instantly. The wealth gap was leveled by you in the most violent way possible. The wealth gap was leveled by you in the most violent way possible. The World Channel went completely insane. Countless low-level players were celebrating. They were no longer the leaks, harvested by big guilds and official capital, but the beneficiaries of this abyss carnival. Desertion stood at the main city's respawn point, looking at his zeroed account, logged off in rage and smashed his helmet. And that iron wall fortress that betrayed you was hunted by bounties from countless solo players who received huge sums. Couldn't even leave the novice village. Shantianzi is awesome. Game completely shut down. Under maintenance for 3 whole days. When the server lit up again, all players held their breath, waiting for the official's final announcement. Lord, you became a god in one battle. Not only did you trample your enemies underfoot, even the capital that developed this game had to bow to you. You logged back into the game. Still that status panel with 100 HP. Still that worn-out diving suit. Nightingale, Faceless, and Flower and Heart, waiting early at the altar entrance. Boss, what are we doing next? Preparing for a cross-server expedition. Since we've already cleared District 1, it's time to set the rules for the markets in District 2 and 3. You close the panel. The light of the Abyss Star flickers on your chest. Players across the whole server know that lunatic who monopolized the server by scavenging trash is going to plague the next server again. As the teleportation array of the Abyss altar lights up, you step toward the unknown cross-server Starry Sea. Others rely on killing monsters to level up. You rely on dimensional reduction strikes. In this game called Wealth, as long as greed exists, the Abyss Collector will never be absent.